another pass and stiffen that manpower deep stroke and swing to the deep corner. That's great.
That's the way to run it, boys! The way to run! You gotta have more conviction than that! First down by 2 feet. 2 feet. He's got it easy. He's got it easy. I can see. Get him, Danny. Get him, Danny. Beat that rookie. Let's go, Saints!
Wide to the left. Gilliam in the slot to the left. First and goal from the 7. Man rolls to the right. Dumps it out. Good touchdown!
Good evening and a warm welcome to the biggest sporting event in the world. It's now 10:45 and soon we'll be going over to Mars Aitken in Pasadena for live coverage of the Championship of the World between the Washington Redskins and the Miami Dolphins. But here in our London studio I'm joined by John Smith, who will give us a unique insight into the game. John is an ex-soccer player who now is a kicker with the New England Patriots. John, welcome again. Now, easy question first, who's going to win?
Well, I favour Miami. I'm biased because I'm an AFC team, and also I think Miami is the strongest on defense right now. In big games like this, defense seems to prevail. They're also a very strong kicking team, and it may come down to a field goal in the end.
Now, the thing is that the bookies are putting them very close. Do you think the score will be close?
I think it will be close. In fact, they have 2 good kickers involved in both teams, Mosley and Von Sharman. I think Von Sharman is the better of the 2. He has a better percentage over his lifetime career. So I back the Miami Dolphins.
Well, you're a very good judge of kickers, of course, so you'll be with us at least for the next 4 hours or so. Well, now if you've been following our series, I'm sure you know the rules, but if to you American football looks like an undisciplined free-for-all, here's a brief guide to help you enjoy the game. Well, the aim is to score more points than your opponents. You can do this by scoring a touchdown. Now, that's a misleading term in itself because the ball doesn't have to be touched down at all, simply carried into or caught cleanly within the end zone, and that's worth 6 points.
Then that's where I come in, the specialist kicker, and convert that touchdown. Unlike rugby, the kick is not taken opposite the point of touchdown, but always from directly in front of the posts. That's worth 1 point. The kicker can also try for a field goal. This is exactly like the conversion, but is taken from any distance from the goal up to about 60 yards. And that's worth 3 points.
Now, there is one more method. That's called a safety, and that's worth 2 points of score and about 800 points of psychological advantage. We'll explain that in detail when and if it happens. Now, John, tell us about the teams.
Well, out of the squad of 49 players, there are only 11 from each side on the field at any one time. Substitutions are made frequently, and each club fields 3 different types of teams. The offense, that's the team with the ball. The defense, the team trying to get the ball. And the special teams, who only go on the field whenever there's a kicking situation.
Now, the team on the offense have 4 attempts to move the ball at least 10 yards upfield. Now, these are called downs. If they succeed, they get another first down and 4 more goes to move it another 10 yards. Now, say they move it 4 yards on their first attempt. The next down will be 2nd and 6, meaning it's their second go out of 4, but they still have 6 yards to travel. The next time they might have 3rd and 2. That means they've shifted it 4 yards.
In practice, most of the time, if after the 3rd down they haven't reached their required 10 yards, the ball is kicked, punted away to the opposition. This is done by the special teams. A good punt is a high and long kick which pushes the opposition as far down the field as possible, forcing them to travel all the way back up the field. It's quite easy to judge the number of yards the teams have to move the ball because the American football pitch, which is 100 yards long and 160 feet wide, is divided into easy seen 5-yard sections.
Finally, there are 7 officials on the field. Each has a yellow cotton square of material. Whenever they spot an infringement, they throw this hanky down on the ground. You'll hear the commentator say, "There's a flag on the play." The referee then switches on his radio microphone and explains what his decision is.
Personal foul, number 36, defense.
So even the referee becomes a commentator. Well, in a few minutes we'll be going over to the satellite, but now let me introduce you to our competition winners, Barbara and Robert Downey from Northern Ireland. Welcome. Your prize that you won in the competition was to spend a Super Bowl evening with us. The second prize, of course, was 2 nights. Seriously, though, did you find the competition easy?
Yes, sorry, no, we didn't find it that easy. Unlike trying to select, say, 2 teams for the FA Cup final, here we didn't know the game, and most certainly we did not know the teams involved.
And you've been watching our game since the beginning of the series?
Yes, we've tried to watch every game.
Well, I'm delighted, and I hope, of course, you enjoy this evening.
Thank you.
Well, let's hope, of course, it's a great game. So, settle back and enjoy with us around 4 hours of Super Bowl 17, the Redskins versus the Dolphins. And we'll be back after this. Stay tuned. Hello again. Well, tension mounts here in London and in Pasadena, and soon we'll be joining an audience of over 100 million people worldwide for the start of Super Bowl 17, the championship of the world. Well, John is here with me. John, I was talking about tension there. Tell me, what are the players feeling now, just as they're about to go on the pitch? Very quickly.
Well, right now, the week has been building up. This is the game of their lifetime. You don't get to the Super Bowl very often. It's what you work for all year long. And right now, they're quite tense. They want to get out there, run around, get some energy out, and get the game going. They're ready to get going.
Well, the game is now ready to start, so now let us go live to Pasadena.
I'm Miles Aiken, and I'd like to welcome you to Channel 4's live coverage of the sports spectacle of the year, the 1983 Super Bowl. We're here in sunny Pasadena, California, in the beautiful Rose Bowl Stadium with 100,000 fanatical football fans to watch the Miami Dolphins lock horns with the Washington Redskins for the most coveted prize in the American football world, the Vince Lombardi Trophy. As the drama and tension nears the kickoff time, all eyes occasionally shift to the sky. For in the last week, Southern California has been violently pounded by severe rainstorms. But apparently the rain gods have called a timeout, for as you can see, the sky is nigh bright. Let us now urge you to join Nicky Horn, John Smith, myself in your favorite chair, and the rain gods to watch and enjoy the sports spectacle of the year, the 1983 Super Bowl.
As the drama and tension increases, we make it all right.
Of rain and threatening forecast, this Super Bowl Sunday is football perfect. The scene for Super Bowl 17, the Rose Bowl, Pasadena, hosting this game for the 3rd time. And the other 2, the AFC champions, prevailed today before a crowd expected at 104,000 fans. The AFC, represented by the Miami Dolphins, meets the NFC champions, the Washington Redskins. Hello, everyone. I'm Dick Enberg. Welcome to Super Bowl 17. Well, the Super Bowl pregame analysis, thank goodness, is finally over. From the verbosity of Joe Theismann to the hermit-like nature of David Woodley to the individuality of John Riggins to the Smurfs and the Bees and the Hogs, and whether or not with that 8-week layoff with a football player strike, there is really credibility to this Super Bowl 17. One thing is for certain, the coaches and the players who have earned their way here find it a most meaningful experience. And with that feeling, I'd like to introduce my partner, Merlin Olsen. It means a lot to them.
Really does, Dick. I started each one of my 15 NFL seasons with a single dream: to end the season in a game like this, with a chance at a Super Bowl ring. Unfortunately, I never got there. But these players did. And of the 28 teams in the league, they all started with that dream this year. The Washington Redskins, the Miami Dolphins are here. One of them will carry away the championship of Super Bowl 17.
Well, the critics say that maybe the best teams are at home.
Well, I've got a few words for the critics. No 2 teams have ever played a tougher playoff schedule to get into a Super Bowl. The other thing that bothers me about the critics when they start bad-mouthing these football teams and talking about talent is that if you give me a choice of talent or performance, I'll take performance every time. And when you talk about performance in this past season, you must talk about Washington and Miami.
And the performers today in Super Bowl 17 will be working on a perfect stage. The weather conditions are ideal. The field itself in magnificent condition. We'll return to the Rose Bowl in a moment.
Well, it's nice to know that the weather is now cleared up over there. John, this is very much a media event. How stage managed is it? Tell us what it's like from a player's point of view.
Well, the whole game is really geared around TV. It was a very clever marketing job by Pete Rozelle. The NBC has 20 cameras at this game. There's 105,000 people watching the game live. There's 112 million people in the US alone that are watching this game on TV. When you go out there as a player, for instance, as a kicker, before I can kick the ball on a kickoff, I have to get a signal from the referee, who has earphones to TV, who tell him when the ad is finished. The same thing happens during the game. We have 3 timeouts during each half. Those timeouts are geared for television so they can get their ads in.
So you actually have to stop, the game stops, and you have to wait for a cue from the stage manager before you can go back in. That must be very difficult when you're psyched up and you're playing a very important game to have to stop for the commercial breaks.
Well, actually, timeouts are part of the game. The quarterbacks call a timeout, and it gives you time to get together with the coaches. The game is so detailed, and there's so much strategy involved that it gives the coaches a chance to discuss it with the quarterback on offense, and the same on the defense with the defensive captain. So the time is well spent.
Right, it must have been a real culture shock for you, though, the first time that you played in a game, coming from English soccer. It must have been very strange for you.
It was. Well, I didn't realize when I first went there that TV was involved with football this way, and I had to make one kickoff my first game. And I was ready to kick the ball, and the little fella in his striped vest wouldn't blow the whistle.
Right.
And I was so nervous, it seemed like I was stood there for ages waiting for him.
I'm afraid that I must stop you there, because now, in fact, are going back live to Pasadena, and here they are now.
Under ideal conditions, these are the facts. Miami Dolphins are a 3-point favorite over the Washington Redskins. They're similar teams. They both like to stay on the ground first, then go to the pass. They both love their defense. The winners today will go home with $36,000 per man. The losers earn $18,000. Those are the facts. Merlin Olsen, the feelings.
Feelings are that the waiting is almost over. Washington has waited 10 years to get here, and of course the Miami Dolphins have waited 9 years to get back to here. And in all of the pain and all the preparation this week, it's a matter of getting out on the field and kicking it off. It's time to go to work.
It's a spectacular introduction of the flags of the NFL, the NFC, the AFC, and here they are now, presented by the Golden Knights World Championship U.S. Army team. The first has landed. Based in Fort Bragg, North Carolina, presenting the colors of the NFC, the AFC, the NFL, plus Washington, Miami, the Super Bowl itself. Here comes the Redskins. Gonfalon. These men and women have won 41 national titles, 8 world championships. They're the Army's counterpart to the Navy's Blue Angels and the Air Force's Thunderbirds. And judging by the crowd reaction, it's going to be a Washington Redskin crowd. There appear to be much more vocal support for the Redskins than anything that represents the Washington NFC team over the Miami club. So we're now just moments away from the kickoff, Super Bowl 17 from the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, you were.
NBC coverage to our friends in Britain. You'll be watching an international version of NBC's Super Bowl coverage. Channel 4 has cameras here at the Super Bowl, but the match coverage you will be watching is provided by NBC. A tremendous amount of money and power has gone into this expedition. They have $9 million worth of electronic equipment here, 20 cameras covering the game, 11 replay tape machines, 3 miles of video cable, 4 miles of audio cable, and a production team of 130 people, many flown in from New York and Chicago. There will be 21 commercial breaks in this American version of this program, but we only cover a third of those. So we'll be covering half of those American breaks with Nikki and myself and John Smith discussing the game on our Channel 4 cameras. As we can see here, we can look at the Channel 4 emblem, letting everyone know in Britain that we are firmly placed here in Pasadena. And the pictures that you will be seeing.
Featuring the Los Angeles Unified Schools All-District Band, the Miami Dolphins cheerleaders, the Washington Redskins, and the Golden Knights. We now direct your attention to the north end of the bowl for the player introductions. Here is Dick Enberg of NBC Sports.
Introducing the Miami defensive starting lineup, the AFC champion Dolphins. At left end, from Nevada Reno, number 75, Doug Betters. The nose tackle from Alabama, number 73, Bob Baumhauer. At right end from San Jose State, number 58, Kim Bokamper. The linebackers for Miami from Ohio State, number 59, Bob Brudzinski. Inside linebacker from LSU, number 77, A.J. Dewey. Also inside linebacker, Henderson State of Arkansas, number 55, Ernest Roan. Right linebacker from Arizona State, number 50, Larry Gordon. The cornerbacks for Miami at left cornerback, number 48, from San Jose State, Gerald Small. And at right cornerback from Alabama, number 28, Don McNeil. Strong safety for Miami from the University of Texas, number 47, Glenn Blackwood. And at free safety from TCU, number 42, Lyle Blackwood. Presenting head coach Don Shula and the remainder of the AFC champions, the Miami Dolphins. Introducing the starting defensive unit for the NFC champion Washington Redskins. At left end from Brigham Young University, number 76, Matt Mendenhall. At left tackle from Purdue, number 65, Dave Butts. The right tackle from Rice, number 77, DARRYL-GRANT. At right end, from Oklahoma State, number 72, Dexter Manley. The Redskin linebackers on the left side from Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, number 55, MEL-KAUFMAN. The middle linebacker from Maryland, number 52, NEAL-OLKEWICZ. Right linebacker from Penn State, number 57, Rich Malott. The cornerbacks for Washington on the left side from the University of Hawaii, number 45, JERIS-WHITE. Right cornerback from San Diego State, number 32, Vernon Dean. The safety, strong safety from Oklahoma, number 23, Tony Peters. And the free safety from Colgate, number 29, Mark Murphy. Head coach and coach of the year in the NFL, Joe Gibbs, and the rest of the NFC champion, Washington Redskins. The starting lineups, Washington and Miami, and now it's an honor today to be named by the National Football League to officiate in this game. And here are those introductions.
Presidential drill team and honor guard from Washington, D.C.
My name is Jerry Mark Bright, referee. Art Demas, umpire.
Dale Hamer, head linesman. Bill Reynolds, line judge.
Dick Hantak, back judge. David Perry, side judge.
Don Orr, field judge. Bob McElwee, alternate.
Burl Toller, alternate.
Congratulations, gentlemen. Those are the game officials for Super Bowl 17. And now down to the field, we're going to have the presentation of our national anthem.
Would you please rise for a moment of silence in memory of Paul Bear Bryant. Thank you. Thank you. And now, to honor America, please join Miss Leslie Easterbrook in the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaked, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free?
Miss Leslie Easterbrook, star on Laverne and Shirley, plays the role of Rhonda Lee. The AFC, since the merger, has won 9 times, the NFC 3, and they're set now in the Rose Bowl. We'll be back after these messages from your local stations.
And this message from this local station. They look pretty tense there, John, the players, when we saw the close-ups of them there. How have they been spending their day today? What has their day consisted of?
Well, they would have had pre-game meal around about 9:30, and that's the last meal they have until after the game. Then they go and get packed, get on the buses, get to the game about 3 hours before the game usually. Then when you get to the stadium, you have all your equipment to get ready, get taped, because everybody gets taped, ankles taped, fingers taped, elbows taped. Then I usually go out and walk around on the field and look at the surface, just look at the field, look at the weather conditions. And then about an hour and 5 minutes, hour and 10 minutes before the game starts, the specialists go out on the field and you kick your field goals and you punt. The quarterbacks will go out and throw a few balls to the receivers. About 30 minutes later, 15 minutes later, the rest of the team comes out and you just go through a few exercises. You warm up through a few plays on offense, a few plays on defense, just to get the bugs out and the nerves out and just smooth things over. Then everybody goes in about 20 minutes before the game, and the coach gives you the final pep talk or the final discussion on what we aim to do on offense, defense, and what we're going to do on special teams. Every locker room says the Lord's Prayer about 5 minutes before you go out there, and some players bang their head against the wall and trying to get themselves psyched up, and then you go to the tunnel.
Because they are, of course, playing not only for the championship of the world, but also for a great deal of money. How much will each player get on the winning team?
The winning team, each player will make $36,000 for this game alone. The losing player will get $18,000.
Well, now I think they're just about to toss the coin to decide who kicks off. Let's go back to Pasadena.
Hall of Famer, University of Wisconsin athletic director. He was an All-American there. Here he catches a pass from Bob Waterfield in 1951. Number 40, Hirsch, with that crazy leg style, caught 17 touchdown passes. That tied Don Hudson's NFL record, and he did it in a 12-game season. Welcome back to Los Angeles, Elroy Crazy Legs Hirsch.
Bring your attention to the center of the field for the toss of the coin. Entering from the Dolphins bench area, referee Jerry Markbright, and entering from the Redskins sideline, let's have a Super Bowl welcome for former Rams great, Hall of Famer, Elroy Crazy Legs Hirsch. Let's listen to referee Jerry Markbright as he talks to the Dolphin and Redskin captains.
Captains, introduce yourselves, please. Gentlemen, Elroy Hirsch is going to toss the coin. The side with the two helmets is the heads. Who's going to call the toss? Number 67 calls the toss. Go ahead. Tails is the call. Heads. Washington wins the toss.
Nope. That's tails. You said the other side. No, you said the other side.
Tails.
You kick the ball.
So some confusion as to what is heads and what is tails. Of course, they're not using a conventional coin, but a Super Bowl commemorative coin, and it's not quite as clearly indicated which is heads or which is tails. Washington Redskins then have won the toss. And the biggest name, as they'll get the ball first, number 44, John Riggins. They've been talking about him all week long, Merlin.
Dick, we've talked all week about the importance of Riggins to this offense. And certainly, the question will be answered early. Can Miami's Killer Bees stop John Riggins?
All right, Bill Arnsparger, the defensive coordinator. They call him the genius behind that Miami defensive plan that led the NFL during the course of the year. How will they try to stop Riggins?
Well, they'll try and do it with their regular defensive scheme. Certainly, that's not going to be easy. Riggins has not been stopped in any of the 3 playoff games to date. But if they can't stop him with their regular line up front and the help of their linebackers, they'll have to utilize their safeties, Dick.
So if they fail, we'll see more of the Blackwoods involved in the defensive scheme. All right, if they're successful, what will Joe Gibbs do?
Well, if they can stop Riggins, they have forced Gibbs to make adjustments in his offense. I would expect to see Joe Washington, and certainly would expect to see the ball in the air from Theismann more.
So in a beautiful setting on this late January day, late afternoon in Southern California, it is the Redskins apparently who will kick off first. So that information was as confusing as the toss of the coin.
Eddie Hill, number 31,
Fulton Walker, number 41 deep. Jeff Hayes to kick it off for Washington. And Super Bowl 17 underway. It comes down short. And stopped at the 25-yard line. The Miami Dolphins offense as Clarence Harmon makes the tackle. David Woodley is the quarterback. And with him, Tony Nathan, an excellent pass receiver. Andre Franklin, third in the National Football League and rushing the football. The wide receivers are DARRYL Harris, Jimmy CEFALO, the tight end Bruce Hardy, one of 3 tight ends that will be used by Miami during the course of the day. Dwight Stevenson has had a brilliant play off the center. Giesler and Loxor are the tackles. Kuchenberg and Taves the guards. First down Miami at the 25-yard line. That's Rose in motion, so he starts at tight end. Woodley, almost intercepted by the Redskins. Mark Murphy was the last man who had his hands on it. It was intended for Tony Nathan.
Number 29, Mark Murphy, the man who calls the defenses. He's the general on that side. But the pass was batted by Rich Malott, number 57. You see him there on Tony Nathan. Now watch him go up into the air. Actually, Nathan's the man that skipped the ball off. Could not hang on to the football. Olkewicz dropping back from his middle linebacking position. Also part of it, tapped it there. But it was Murphy that almost came up with the interception, Dick.
Second down, 10, 25-yard line. We're using two tight ends. Hardy left, Rose right. The big fullback, Franklin, short yardage, ran right into 295-pound Dave Butts and the middle linebacker, NEAL-OLKEWICZ. The defensive alignment for the Washington Redskins. They allowed less points than anyone in the NFL. Mendenhall and Manley are on the ends. Butts and Grant are the tackles. 4-3 set. The linebackers, Olkewicz, the middle backer, with Kaufman and Malott on the outside. Cornerbacks, JERIS-WHITE, former Dolphin. Rookie Vernon Dean at the corners. Peters on his way to the Pro Bowl, and Murphy, the captain, are at safety. Out of the shotgun. 3rd and 9 from the 26. Woodley hit from behind, scampers, and slides to the 33 short of the first down. Monty Coleman, number 51. Linebacker comes in pass situations. Woodley appeared to have misjudged where that first down marker was.
Actually, Dick, what happened to Woodley was he lost his feet driving for the first down. You'll have a chance to see it. One of the things that makes Dave Woodley such a valuable quarterback is his running ability. Gets Manley over the top there, but gets away. Now watch him. He'll try to cut here and just loses his feet on the inside. Turf a little bit loose at that point on the field, Dick.
Tom Oros, who did not have a good day last week against the Jets, to kick. Mike Nelms, a Pro Bowler. They regard him as the best kick return man in the NFL, his peers. Oros gets away a good kick. Nelms at the 24. And finally drive down about the 28-yard line. A good coverage by the Dolphins. 44-yard kick, about a 5-yard return. And Washington has the ball for the first time, and Joe Theismann, the quarterback. Theismann has with him John Riggin. Sometimes we'll see Joe Washington pass situations. The receivers, Garrett, only one catch during the year, and brilliant in the playoffs. Brown, a Pro Bowler. The tight end is Warren. We'll see Rick Walker as well, a tight end. Those are the Hogs, the big offensive linemen. Jacoby and Sark at tackle. The guards are Grimm and May, and Bostic the center. First down from the 28. Walker with a tight end motion, and Riggins right up the middle. Powers for 5. Now that was no surprise. They gave it to Riggins, and he had a good gain on first down before Dewey could make the tackle. The Killer Bees, they call themselves, because of all the names that start with B, and there are 3 of them. Baumhauer, the nose tackle, a Pro Bowler. Doug Betters and Kimbo Camper are the ends. Brudzinski and Gordon on the outside. Dewey and Roan, the leading tackler, on the inside. Small and McNeil, the cornerbacks, and the Blackwoods are at safety. Second and 5. Riggins close to a first down as he slams to the 38. It'll be 3rd and 1.
Up in the middle of the line for the Hogs, number 53, Jeff Bostic, working on 73, Bob Baumhauer. Bostic is a position blocker. Look at him go for the inside position. He's got Baumhauer off the line, just locks him up there. And all Riggins needs is a little crack. 3rd and just a fraction. Let's see what they do in short yardage.
Otis Wansley, 39, comes in as a blocking back for Riggins in this situation. And Riggins follows Wansley across the 40 for a first down. It's a Redskin crowd. First down at the 41-yard line. Baumhauer made the tackle.
We've talked about the physical nature of the Blackwood brothers, Dick. Number 42, Lyle Blackwood, coming up aggressively to dump one of the Redskins on his back. But I'm afraid it's the Redskins who win the war on that battle as they pick up the first down.
First down at the 41. Washington taking the ball for the first time after Miami received the kickoff. The flanker screen to Charlie Brown. Gets a block. He's to the 50. He's to the Miami 48. First down. 12 yards before Ernest Roan could chase him down.
Chance to be part of the action. Those of you at home or watching elsewhere, Charlie Brown comes across in motion. They're trying to create some confusion so they can take advantage of it with a quick screen here. Fully half of the passes for Washington on first down are of the screen variety, but watch the quickness of Brown here as he eludes the defenders and uses his running ability to get extra yardage before Ernest Roan, number 55, finally drags him down.
Brown in motion, first down at the Miami 48. Riggins tripped up, a good knifing defensive play by 59, Bob Brudzinski. Ohio State All-American, a #1 draft pick of the Rams in 1977, and traded as an unhappy Ram to Miami, where he said he is more than pleased.
Dick, you asked me how they were going to stop Riggins. One of the ways they will try and do that is by using stunts and games up front with the linebackers and the linemen. You saw Brudzinski rushing in on that play. He was able to get back and take Riggins' legs out from underneath him. Passing set in the game now. Riggins has come to the sideline.
So the 2nd and 9 brings Joe Washington and Harmon into the game. And Theismann dropping. Deep down the middle. Incomplete for Alvin Garrett. And broken up by Glenn Blackwood. Number 47, he's the younger of the two Blackwoods, University of Texas.
Alvin Garrett, number 47, one of the Smurfs. And he's quickly downfield. Theismann has time to throw the football. Looks first to his left and then rifles it downfield. Watch number 47 right there. Comes across, gets a piece of the football and a bigger piece of Alvin Garrett.
And it appeared that Garrett had beaten his man Small, but Blackwood came over to save it for Miami. It's 3rd and 9. Theismann. He is sacked at the 46 of Washington. Ernest Roan, 55. Leading tackler for the Dolphins last year and again this season.
Number 55, Ernest Roan, coming from his inside linebacking position, looping around number 73, Bob Baumhauer. Take it down at the line of scrimmage. Now watch Theismann. The pressure will come from slightly from his left. Getting pressure on the outside here from Beaucamper, who's driven by. That's Dewey coming. Now that's Betters from the other side, but it's Ernest Roan right up the middle. Lands on top of the quarterback. They'll have to kick it away.
Jeff Hayes, last in the NFC with a 38-yard average this year. Free agent rookie from North Carolina. And he hammers a beauty into the end zone. And Miami on the touchback will take it at the 20-yard line. A 54-yard punt by Hayes. That's his longest of the playoffs and only 4 shy of his longest of the year. It's Miami's ball. The Dolphins have protected Woodley well, and of course he's also an outstanding scrambler. Theismann himself a good runner, but sacked 30 times during the course of the year. So Miami has the ball. Defensive coordinator Richie Pettibone of the Redskins. He likes that big play defensive look, and he'll gamble.
He certainly will. He's always played that way, and he's got this Redskin defense playing that way, Dick.
From the 20, no score, first quarter. Tony Nathan trying to get to the 25-yard line. Mendenhall, Olkewicz, and plenty of white jerseys to help out.
Dick, one of the things that the Redskins players talked about is that they would much rather see the ball in the hands of Tony Nathan than Andre Franklin. And their reasoning is that Nathan has had a tendency to be a little careless with the football. They feel if he carries it quite often, they'll be able to knock it loose and perhaps pick up a fumble.
Nathan, who had an injury-plagued year, was not up to the character of his past seasons, but has had a good playoff. 2nd down and 6 at the 24. 8:28 left, first quarter. That's Hardy in motion. And wide open is CEFALO at the 50. Could go all the way. 40, 25, 15, and Miami has a touchdown. It appeared that Woodley was going to throw a short screen to the tight end. And then either he changed his mind or by design found CEFALO all alone on the sidelines. A 76-yard touchdown.
Dick, I think he has the option on that. He chose to fake the screen right there and then go deep to CEFALO. CEFALO one-on-one coverage from Peters, and Peters simply cannot catch up. Number 23, the man behind him. CEFALO uses his speed to get him into the end zone, and the one thing Washington wanted to see happens. They get burned with a long pass.
Von Schaman, who has been bothered by a painful back injury, picks it through, and Miami has a 7-point lead.
We talked about the fact that the Redskins wanted to make Woodley throw the ball deep. They wanted to force him to throw deep. And here he is, responding very successfully to Jimmy CEFALO on downfield for the touchdown.
8 minutes, 11 seconds into the first quarter. Miami 7, Washington nothing.
And tradition.
During the course of this week, they kidded Jimmy CEFALO that he didn't have major league speed. He said, hey, I ran a 9.8 in high school, and he certainly ran away from the Redskins.
Well, he's one of those people we talk about where we'll take performance over potential or over talent. He sure gave you performance on that play.
I was 4 yards shy of the Super Bowl record. Plunkett to King, 80 yards. You saw earlier in the day on NFL 82. Short kick. Nelms at the 11, 20, 30. Look at him go. 40 and all the way to midfield. Mike Nelms.
There's a penalty flag on the field, Dick. But what a great return by Mike Nelms. Tackled by William Judson, number 49. And Nelms has to be one of the most important offensive weapons on the field. 76 yards last week on a kickoff return. A great return here. They're going to march it back, unfortunately, as the Miami Dolphin defense gets a break that would have put Washington in great field position to start this drive.
Jerry Markwright, his first Super Bowl.
Illegal block, number 56 on the run back. First down.
So 56, Quentin Lowry, guilty of the foul.
Perhaps we'll be able to see it. There it is right there. The shot on the back. Now not allowed to take the man on the backside, and Lowry ticketed with the foul. Puts the ball back on the 25.
Instead of near midfield. Riggins had a little room to the outside, tried to come back inside, and there a sea of aquamarine blue.
We asked the question earlier, would Miami's defense be able to stop John Riggins? The early answer, yes, they will. There's Bob Baumhauer doing a good job of shutting it off over the middle. The second play, these plays from earlier action now. Right there, that was the tackle from the outside by Brudzinski, number 59. Riggins has got to get himself moving. He got 5 yards on that play. That's the kind of running that got Washington into this game, Dick.
Theismann, second down, 6. Riggins. The big back from Kansas is to the 34-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 1. Number 40, Mike Kozlowski. He's the 5th defensive back, made the tackle.
Gain of 5 yards.
One of the important members of that Miami defense, number 77, A.J. Dewey. What a great week last week. Watch him in pursuit here. Reads the play to the outside. Knows that Riggins must be stopped out there. Look at him fighting his way through, throwing his body into the stack. But Riggins almost able to pick up that first down. 3rd and less than 1.
Riggins was rushed for over 100 yards in each of the 3 playoff games. Theismann in that controlled roll, but he's in trouble. Gets to the 30 and then is tripped up. Baumhauer, Brudzinski, and Dewey all surrounding Theismann. And so the punting team will come on for the Washington Redskins.
Bob Baumhauer is certainly important to that play, but I believe it was the linebacker, Larry Gordon, coming upfield and shut it on. Let's watch the pursuit from the inside. Bostic trying to shut off Baumhauer inside, but Baumhauer able to escape. He'll finally make the tackle, but it was a fine play by Gordon, who forced Theismann back inside. Actually, Baumhauer didn't finish the tackle. He just got the first part of it.
So Jeff Hayes to punt. Tommy Figueredo back at the 30-yard line for Miami. The Dolphins leading 7-0. End over end. Figueredo has some running room. 35. And down at the 37-yard line. So the Dolphins have the ball and the lead. Exactly 6 minutes remaining in the first quarter here. Super Bowl 17 from Pasadena. Dolphins 7, Redskins nothing. Goodyear Blimp, Columbia from Los Angeles. The pilot, Captain Joel Chamberlain, Norwood, Massachusetts. If that blimp were to land on the Rose Bowl field, it would cover 65 yards. Picture postcard day in Pasadena. 7-0 Miami leading the Washington Redskins with 6 minutes remaining in the first quarter. David Woodley. On the course of the year, was just an average passer, as you saw from those statistics, but has saved some of his best for the playoffs. Bill Arnsparger and the Miami defense on the sidelines from the 38. Tony Nathan threw a big hole all the way to the 50-yard line and almost took it the distance. MEL-KAUFMAN, 55 around his ankles. It's a big gain for Miami, 13 yards.
Again, Washington Redskins getting what they had hoped for defensively. They wanted to see Nathan carrying the football, but I don't think they wanted to see him making this kind of yardage. Fine play. They faked Franklin to the outside. Nathan darting up inside, showing great acceleration. Usually it's Franklin running up inside and Nathan running outside. Utilized 22 right up the middle. Fine gain, first down.
50-yard line. Matt Moore, the veteran in motion. Franklin running into his own man. 31-yard line, a 9-yard gain for Franklin from Nebraska. He wears 39. That was Larry Zonka's number, and he made it very clear, even though he wore 39 at Nebraska, he wanted 37 and his own identity with the Dolphins, and he certainly has earned that this year, rushing for over 700 yards, third best in the NFL. There they are. Freeman McNeil, the NFL rushing champion, followed by Tony Dorsett, the best in the NFC, and then Franklin. There's Zonk himself. He was always a favorite of Don Shula's. Franklin has a first down at the Washington 37-yard line.
A lot of people do not realize, Dick, that during the regular season, Franklin averaged 4.1 yards a carry. And John Riggins, who has had a lot more publicity coming into this game, averaged 3.1 yards a carry. Of course, Riggins' numbers in the playoffs much better than that, but there's Franklin's record for both the season and the playoff. You can see the number of times that he has contributed with those big 4-yard plus gains.
Powerful legs. He was a blocking back at Nebraska primarily. On 2nd and 1, Woodley. Bubble! Redskins have a shot at it. If it stays in bounds, did it? Yes. Washington ball at the 46-yard line. Dexter Manley made the hit. Dave Butts recovered it.
Was hit by Dexter Manley.
A hit reminiscent of the big hit he made on Danny White just before the half in that game against Dallas. Butts will be coming from, or Manley will be coming from the right side of your screen. Just swarms over the top of Woodley. The ball bouncing 20, 30 yards to the sideline. Had that ball gone out of bounds, as you said, Dick, Miami would have retained possession.
So the Redskins were the game's first turnover. One of the owners of the Washington Redskins, Jack Kent Cooke. I think they don't care. That's after Dexter Manley forced the fumble and Dave Butts recovered at the Miami 46-yard line. That turnover table so critical. Dolphins a +4, the Redskins a +8 on the regular season. The Redskins have generated quite a pass rush. They've averaged 4 sacks a game in the last 6. Here, a little razzle-dazzle, and now Theismann getting away and throwing to Brown out of bounds. No catch at the 13-yard line. He did not come down in bounds. Charlie Brown has Theismann drilling the ball Glenn Blackwood on the coverage. Theismann did a good job of escaping the rush.
A little bit riverboat gambler and Joe Gibbs as he sends Theismann back to take that little reverse flea flicker. Watch him hand off the first time, a second handoff, and now the toss back from Alvin Garrett. Theismann will get great pressure from Dewey right there, but Dewey misses the tackle. Theismann unloads the football, and now at the spot of the catch, a chance here perhaps to stay in bounds. The receiver, Charlie Brown, right on the sideline. No way to get those two toes down inside.
2nd and 10. A draw. Clarence Harmon toppled at about the 38-yard line. A good gain of about 7 for Harmon, who carried the ball infrequently during the course of the year, rushed for 168 yards. He's from Mississippi State, one of the many free agents on this Washington team.
When he did carry it, carried it effectively with a 4.4 average during the regular season, Dick.
Mark Mosley, who set an NFL record, 23 consecutive field goals this year, getting ready just in case. 3rd down and 2. Theismann over the middle. Caught for a first down at the 35-yard line by Don Warren, the tight end from San Diego State. Warren with Roan all over him, making a clutch catch and a Washington first down.
During the 1981 season, Don Warren had a hard time hanging onto the football. But somewhere he found glue on his fingers. During the 1982 season, has been a sure-handed receiver, has been well utilized by Theismann, by Joe Gibbs. A very important part of their passing attack during this past season.
2.5 minutes remaining, first quarter. Miami has scored on the 76-yard touchdown pass. Woodley to CEFALO. Redskins, after a turnover, have a first down at the Miami 35. Riggin. He's got at least 7. Starting wide and at 235 pounds, showing his speed as he cut upfield. Dewey and Blackwood, Lyle Blackwood made the tackle. Brudzinski was there as well.
A.J. Dewey will be all over the field on this particular play, coming from his inside linebacker slot. Gets a little block there from Grimm, number 68. But that's the kind of play that Riggins runs so well. Slipping outside, seeing the opening in the defense, and accelerating up through the hole. He rarely falls backwards. At the end of his runs, you'll normally see Riggins going forward.
2nd down in the long 3. See Warren coming up through the hole. Walker to block the tight end, and then Riggins following in behind and has the first down inside the 25. 7 more yards for John Riggins. Former Jet, a #1 pick in 71. Established himself as a free agent, picked up by the Redskins, then left football in '80 because he didn't think he was making enough money. Decided he better come back. He was bored and broke, he said. And had really an average year, didn't he, Merlin, during the course of the season, but he's been spectacular in the playoffs.
Certainly has. And you saw Arnsparger concerned about what's going to happen as Theismann does not like what he sees and quickly calls a timeout.
So from the 22 with the first down, the Miami defense was not what Theismann wanted in that play call, and so he's going to come over and talk with Joe Gibbs, his head coach. 57 seconds remaining, first quarter. Miami 7, Washington nothing.
Hi, I'm Terry. I'm a management specialist in Washington, D.C. Hi, I'm Karen. I'm a legal secretary in Washington.
Hi, I'm Cindy. I'm a legal secretary in Washington.
Hi, I'm Janine. I'm a freshman in college from Washington.
Hi, I'm Jennifer. I'm a legal secretary in Virginia.
Hi, I'm Drina. I'm a student from Maryland. Hi, Dad in London. Love ya.
Welcome to Channel 4. Go Redskins!
I hope you enjoyed meeting our lovely friends from Washington, D.C. I certainly did.
22nd at Tampa Stadium in Tampa, Florida. Super Bowl 19 will be played at Stanford Stadium on January 20th, 1985, while Super Bowl 20 will be played at the Super Bowl.
And a little bit of information about the number of seats and tickets sold here. Officially, the number of seats in the stadium is 106,000. 23,000 went to the Redskins and 23,000 went to the Dolphins.
Less than 1 minute remaining in the first quarter. The Dolphins leading by a touchdown. A long play. Woodley to CEFALO, 76 yards. Dexter Manley's sack of Woodley forced a fumble, recovered by Butts, and now the Redskins looking for the tying goal. Have a first down at the Dolphin 22. Riggins inside the 20 to about the 18-yard line. Dewey and others to stop the big fullback of the Redskins. Second down and 6 for Washington.
Dick, one of the things that we will see in this game that is very interesting is the blocking of the big tight ends. Rick Walker, number 88, right there working on Gordon. And you notice how he locks Gordon up. He really has just got him where he is not possible for him to even be a part of the play. That's the strategy of that Washington offense. They blow right into you. They know that Riggins is going to come up through there and find the weakness then in the defense.
Second and 6, that's Brown in motion. Riggins again. The 15 to the 14. It'll be short of the first down by a couple. Gordon, number 50, made the tackle that time.
The Washington Redskins liked the play of number 66, Big Joe Jacoby. And they ran up in there behind him again on that last play.
And that is the end of the first quarter. Super Bowl 17, 15 minutes old, 7-0 Miami.
Spectacular Carolina superstar. Listen to my...
So the first blood to the Dolphins, 7-0, but about 7 zillion points of psychological advantage. Let me now introduce you to Nick Stewart, who's a London bookmaker from SL Limited. Nick, tell us what the latest odds are, because you've got the very latest odds since that last score.
That's right, Nicky. Well, we opened up, as you know, Miami 5-4 odd and Washington evens, and we've now gone 4-7 Miami, 11-8 against Washington.
Right. Now, can you tell us the total money that was invested on American football here in this country?
Over the last few weeks, £24,000.
What about single bets? I mean, are people betting in large amounts or small amounts?
Well, a gentleman came on and had £4,000 at 7-2 on Miami.
So how much would he stand?
He stands to win 14,000 if they win.
That's amazing. Have you been always accepted bets on American football, or is it new this year?
Well, it's new this year. We at SL take bets on a very wide number of sports, and since you at Channel 4 have been televising them, the interest has grown.
I'm delighted to hear that.
Due to your programme, as much as anything
Well,
else.
thank you very much indeed. Now, as I know, as you're a bookmaker, you're probably not a betting man, but who do you think is going to win?
Well, I think the Miami Dolphins are going to win.
You think? Well, I think that makes all three of us, actually. Right, well, now, in any second now, we can go back... any seconds now, we can go back live to Pasadena, and let's go back right now.
Well, in the first quarter, the Redskins had the ball twice as long as Miami, but trailed 7-0.
Well, one of Miami's big plays, of course, got them into the end zone, and that's what the Redskins are looking for right now, a chance to even it up.
Ball at the 15-yard line, third down and 3. That's Walker. Wiseman to Riggins. Stacked up. He didn't make it. See what Joe Gibbs' choice will be on 4th and about 1.5 yards for the first down. Dewey and Gordon, Baumhauer all in on that last play. And here comes the field goal unit for Washington. Mosley, not only 23 consecutive field goals, a new NFL record over 2 years, but this year missed only one, 20 of 21.
Big Joe Jacoby, number 66. They've run in right behind him, and he's been giving Beaucamper, number 58, a tough time. But Beaucamper stood him off on that play, forced the field goal unit.
31 yards away, and Mosley's kick is true. Now the Redskins capitalize on the fumble and get 3. It's 7-3 Miami.
In the Super Bowl.
Pasadena, California, where the second half will be played during the night. Miami leading 7-3, gets the ball. To Bolton Walker at the 5. 20. The speed, 30. And he's all the way to the 47-yard line. Oh, the Dolphins Dolphins. They've read a lot about Mike Helms' tremendous kick return ability, and Fulton Walker says, I'll show you a little of my own stuff. 41 yards on the return to match his number.
The clock at the bottom of your screen will show you how long that football is in the air. You can see the kind of power that Hayes was able to get on that ball. Now watch the coverage. Walker will come up inside. Now breaks to the outside very quickly here. Gets away from a couple of tacklers. That's Hayes who fell to the ground in front of him. They're lucky to get that final saving tackle. It was Williams, Greg Williams, I believe, 47, that came over and took him down from behind.
Officially 42 yards on the kick return. This is Tony Nathan weaving his way to the Washington 45. A gain of 8 before MEL-KAUFMAN. And Mark Murphy can make the hit.
Stop by MEL-KAUFMAN.
Kaufman got into the lineup, Dick. Monty Coleman was injured, and Kaufman got in and has played so well that Monty Coleman hasn't been able to get his job back. Monty does come in to play, of course, on passing downs to utilize his great speed. But MEL-KAUFMAN has really become a player during 1982.
He's a member of the NCAA Division II champion Cal Poly San Luis Obispo team. Nathan again, straight up the middle to a first down at the 37. Dave Butts, #1 draft pick of the St. Louis Cardinals in '73 and then traded to the Redskins, made the tackle.
A gain of 3 yards.
Tony Nathan from Alabama, one of 4 Alabama graduates in this game, and of course, like all of the football world, saddened by the news. Paul Bear Bryant during the week. Franklin. Boy, they appear to be king on Franklin. Nathan has done the running, but Franklin drawing the crowd. That was Dexter Manley spearheading the charge.
Dick, let's take a look at the strategists in this game. Don Shula, of course, calls the plays for the Miami Dolphins, sends them in. And this is one of the men he's counting on today. Wants to use Franklin like a hammer up the middle. But when you've got 3 Redskins and then a 4th standing on top of you, very difficult to make yardage up the middle.
A gain of only 1 for Franklin, who blocked for I.M. Hip and Jarvis Redwine and Rick Burns, all 1,000-yard rushers back at Nebraska. Woodley has a man, Duriel Harris. Stopped at about the 33-yard line. They'll allow progress. JERIS-WHITE, 45, made the tackle. It'll be just shy of a first down. A gain of about 8. Harris from New Mexico State. Don Shula, he'll call the plays on one sideline. And on the other side, Richie Pettibone, the defensive coordinator of the Redskins under Joe Gibbs.
There's Shula sending in the plays. Now he usually sends a messenger in. On the other side, they're sent in by signal. Watch Pettibone. That's his signal, which goes into Mark Murphy on the field. Murphy, the defensive signal caller, the general, he'll make both audible and visual calls for his defensive men.
Woody Bennett into the ball game. It's Franklin that gets the handoff. Don Shula calls that his elephant backfield. 2 big men, short yardage. Franklin at 225 and Bennett at 222. NEAL-OLKEWICZ and Dexter Manley made the tackle, but not until Franklin fought for the first down.
They ran that play right at Big Dave Butts, number 65. Butts, of course, plays the run very efficiently, but Miami challenging him on the offensive line. He's head up there and gets the block of number 57, Dwight Stevenson. Stevenson coming from his center slot. Taves slipping up the middle. Butts able to get back into the play, but not until he had a first down.
Franklin and Nathan behind Woodley, who throws to CEFALO. Touchdown maker is found at the 25-yard line. Short yardage, about 5, maybe 6. Vernon Dean, second-round draft pick, number 32 of the Redskins this year. The rookie from San Diego State went to Los Angeles High School, so he's playing right in his own backyard.
Dwight Stevenson, number 57, had a good look at him over the playoffs. One of the quickest centers in the NFL, and certainly has given us some exciting action to zero in on. Of course, his play very important against this 4-3 defense.
2nd and 4. Nathan. Boy, they had good penetration, did the Redskins that time. They beat the Miami offensive line off the ball, and a loss suffered by the Dolphins as Dave Butts again right around that football.
And that, of course, is exactly what Richie Pettibone wants. He puts in 4 defensive specialists, takes 4 of the slower players out of this game. This is what they call their nickel package, and they love to get Miami and any team they play in a long yardage passing situation.
10 minutes remaining in the first half, 7-3 Miami, 3rd and 5 for the Dolphins. Out of the shotgun. Complete to Harris, and it's a first down at the Washington 19, and Woodley under a tremendous rush just didn't get the ball away. Dean and Murphy made the tackle.
Mark Murphy, leading tackler for the Redskins, making another fine play, but David Woodley has certainly silenced a lot of his critics in this playoff run. They said he couldn't throw the football. Well, he zips this one. JERIS Harris at the other end of it, making the first down. Murphy finally polishes him off, but boy, that's fine play.
Why, Tony Peters, the strong safety, you can't get into a backfield any quicker than he was on Woodley, and he still completed the pass. 9 minutes left, second quarter, 7-3 Miami. First down at the Washington 19. Franklin. He earned about 3, maybe 4 before Murphy and Kaufman could collaborate on the tackle.
Dick, Don Shula's offensive philosophy in this game, pretty basic and simple. Wants to establish the running game, wants to throw the ball short. And when he gets Washington where they have to gamble, where they come with the blitz, he knows he's isolated man-on-man, then he wants to get deep, as he did to CEFALO, and get the big points on the board.
Let's hear Woodley bark out the signals on this 2nd down and 7. Appeared to be Manley offside before the snap. Apparently, we didn't hear the signals, and neither did Manley. It'll go against Manley.
Encroachment, number 72. Defense, 2nd down.
That'll be 2nd down and a long one for Don Shula's Dolphins. And that gives Woodley a down with which to play against Joe Gibbs in his 2nd year with the Redskins, the NFL Coach of the Year, voted by his own peers, former offensive coordinator with the San Diego Chargers.
Shula can afford to play with this down if he wants to. Let's see if he goes for 7.
After a blitz, Franklin drives to the 8-yard line. Murphy made the tackle along with Manley. It's a 1st and goal for Miami.
No question about the willingness of these Redskins to gamble. Looked like they had half the defense coming. Murphy's the man who's coming here, tries to time it, gets there in good time. Gets a pickup right there by Giesler, number 79, but just good hard running by Andre Franklin to pick up that first down.
Murphy, who during the strike ran in New York Central Park, he said even at night that helped his speed, he said.
I can understand that, Dick.
1st and goal from the 8. Franklin. Good defense by the Redskins. 1-yard gain. Rich Malott, one of the many linebackers to graduate from Joe Paterno's Penn State Nittany Lions, replaced Chris Hamburger and is often compared to him as an outside backer.
Had a lot of injuries over the last year and a half, or actually in the past season. This season he stayed healthy, but in the 1981 season had a lot of injuries that kept him from reaching his potential. Has really come to his full potential as a linebacker during this season, Dick.
Woodley has a blocker, might run it. Gets to about the 3-yard line. A little slow in developing. There was a point had Woodley decided to run immediately where he might have scored. Perhaps trying to decide whether to throw or not. It's now 3rd and goal at about the 3. Woodley, the leading rusher among National Football League quarterbacks this year with 207 yards. Let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
Dick, I always hated that quarterback rollout. I think it's the most dangerous play that you can run at this point on the field. Very tough for the defense to take care of.
3rd and goal from the 3-yard line. Miami leading 7-3. Woodley might have thrown that one away. Joe Rose was the nearest Dolphin. Vernon Dean came closest to the ball. So the Redskins stopped Miami's thrust at the 3, and Uwe von Schamann in to try the field goal. This one just a yard longer than an extra point.
We'll take a look at Joe Rose as he gets out into his pattern. Both he and Cefalo were to the outside. It appeared that that ball may have been thrown at Cefalo rather than Rose. Cefalo had hooked back inside. Ball thrown to the corner, but no one could get to it. Let's see if Uwe is getting over the flu. He's not only got that back problem, but he's had the flu this week. Certainly could affect his performance, but probably not from this close in.
21 yards, but from an angle. Out of Strock's hold, it's good. Exactly 6 minutes remaining in the first half here in Pasadena, California. The score, Dolphins 10, Redskins 3.
So up to now, it's been all the Miami Dolphins. Score 10-3 in favor of Miami. Don Shula definitely is happy. His solid defense has cut off the running plays of Wiggins, the running back from Washington Redskins. In attack, he's been alternating, as the American commentator Merle Olsen stated, with a good pass attack and a good running attack. David Woodley, who has been criticized consistently for not being able to throw the ball, has not only demonstrated his true bullet arm, but is directing the offense very, very well. Franklin and Nathan, the running backs, are proving that they also can run, cut, and bring that ball up. The Redskin crowd here is very subdued. The majority of it has come from the Eastern Seaboard, and they're waiting for a reignition of the Redskin offense.
Uwe von Schamann will kick off for the Dolphins. Mike Nelms is deep for the Redskins.
6 minutes remaining in the first half. Here at the Rose Bowl, Super Bowl 17, the AFC champion Dolphins leading by 7. Von Schamann officially from 20 yards on that last field goal. Will kick it off. Mike Nelms to return. He had that big 76-yard kickoff return against Dallas last week.
This is where that injury to Von Schamann's back will probably bother him. You probably won't see him kick the ball into the end zone unless that back is healed substantially in this last week.
Pretty healthy on that. He put Nelms into El Monte. First down at the 20-yard line. So Von Schamann showing that at least that back not bothering his kicking form. The Redskins down by 7 will put it in play from the 20-yard line.
I apologize, Uwe.
Elsewhere today, we understand that Bob Gilder and Rex Caldwell are tied in the 6th hole of sudden death for the Phoenix Open Championship. As soon as a winner is determined, we'll have that for you. But here in Pasadena, big money at stake as well. $36,000 to the winner, and the winner will take home a total of $70,000 for the playoffs. Miami leading 10-3. Ball at the 20-yard line. And Theismann to throw. Wide open is Rick Walker. 30, 40, 45. No one covered Walker, who drives out of bounds at the 47-yard line. 25 yards for Theismann and the Redskins.
Rick Walker, number 88, has been coming in motion and then dipping up into the line to block. On this play, he'll come from the left side of your screen and dip up as if to block. You saw him going through right there. He's all by himself. No one picks him up in the Miami secondary, and Walker does a good job of getting extra yardage before he's finally run out of room by the Blackwood brothers.
Here's Dewey as you watch him try to read the play, get screened out. Actually, Walker goes by him and was forgotten.
That was his coverage. That was Dewey's coverage.
Walker again on a reverse and hit from behind, stopped at the 47-yard line, fumbled, but was already down at the 48 and picked up some of that turf in the helmet.
A.J. embarrassed on that last play. I really believe that that was his man. and sometimes the adrenaline will begin to pump. He comes right up on Russ Grimm, number 68, stands Grimm off at the line, and finally gets outside to make the tackle on Walker right there.
Dewey, number 77, that was a big number last week. He had 3 interceptions and a touchdown. 77 for the Redskins. DARRYL-GRANT had a touchdown. Riggins close to a first down as he plows to the Miami 43-yard line. Riggins, who broke all of Gale Sayers' records at Kansas in high school, was the state champion sprinter with a 9.8 speed. Compact 235-pounder. Fumbled once all year, did Riggins. Never thrown for a loss in his collegiate days. At Kansas, they're measuring for the first down.
Riggo, he had himself quite a week. Didn't like all the press conversation at the beginning of the week, and it had dressed in his casual attire, his khakis and so forth, until late in the week when the Redskins had a party, and Riggo arrived in top hat and tails. And Joe Gibbs said, well, one thing for sure, you never do know what Riggins is going to do, how he's going to arrive.
His normal attire is camouflage pants. Well, there's Riggonomics right there, about that much necessary for a first down.
We're going to be looking at Jeff Bostic, the center for the Washington Redskins. He dislocated the pointer finger on his right hand in practice this week, and of course that's his snapping hand. Very difficult.
Third down and short. Riggins. Here's he has it. Roan finished off the tackle. Riggins able to lurch forward. Didn't need much. And referee Jerry Markbright calls time. This gives us a chance to congratulate Joe Theismann, the quarterback of the Washington Redskins, who has been named the NFL 82 Man of the Year. It's given for not only football excellence, but contributions to the community. And Joe has been so very active in many causes in the nation's capital. His daughter, Amy, first down, at age 3, had open heart surgery. And Joe said when she came out of the surgery and looked at him and said, Daddy, he said his whole life changed, and he has given very freely of his time off the field. We congratulate him on that high honor.
He's certainly, without question, the leader of that Washington Redskin team, too. And I think one of the great attributes of the quarterback, that kind of leadership.
First down, the Redskins looking for a time touchdown. 4 minutes left in the first half. Theismann to Brown on the flanker screen. Some nice runnings, but Doug Better's able to finally get him by the jersey and tail him down at about the 39-yard line. Betters makes his off-season home up in the ski country. He likes Lake Tahoe in Montana. Sure wish he'd give up skiing.
Screen pass, and of course Bostic, one of the people that will have to get outside to help block. You see him right there trying to stay on Baumhauer. Now he's trying to get outside. Baumhauer stayed right with him, but Bostic would not give up on the block. That's a feisty blocker there.
Charlie Brown tackled by Betters at the 40. It's second down and 7. Riggins the only setback. Theismann rolling. And then throwing back to Riggins. He has running room, 35-30. And he's all the way to the 25 and a first down.
Here's another angle of that last play. A 14-yard pickup for John Riggins. Riggins not usually utilized as a receiver. And Joe Gibbs is pulling out the stops today. Theismann looking to this sideline and throwing back. John Riggins all alone. And oh, I don't think I'd want to try and come up and tackle him from there. Ooh. 59, Brudzinski, a big linebacker, still had trouble getting him down.
From the 25-yard line of Miami, Theismann to Riggins. And he gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that's all. It appeared the way Riggins was holding the football that he was going to throw.
I watched Riggins during practice, and he practiced for about 5 minutes just with that play, throwing the football, and has a good throwing action, is an accurate passer, but did not unload that one because his receiver was covered.
Alvin Garrett was the man deep downfield, and indeed, he was blanketed well.
Down on the line of scrimmage in the pits, the Hogs beginning to get a little advantage here for the Washington Redskins.
Riggins comes out. He is a member of that Hogs team, honorary unit. It's not easy to get into that club. Clarence Garman, the only setback. Theismann scrambling. He's got running room. 20, 15, out of bounds. First down at the 12. Joe Theismann, who rushed for 150 yards during the course of the year, gets a first down.
We have two very mobile quarterbacks in this football game, and boy, that'll bring in nightmares if you're trying to play defense. You think you've got everything covered. You've got a good pass rush, you've got people covered downfield, and suddenly a mobile quarterback takes off and destroys the whole equation. Turns what looks to be a good play defensively into a disaster.
From the 13, a first down. 10-3, Miami leads, 2 minutes remaining. Riggins to the 7. Baumhauer, McNeil finally made the tackle. And that's the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes left in the first half of Super Bowl 17. Miami has the lead, but the Redskins are threatening to tie. The brain trust of the Washington Redskins, led by 42-year-old Joe Jackson Gibbs.
Man on this side, Joe Bro. And on the other side, the man who gave his offensive line the name Hogs, Joe Buehler.
Even in the locker room there for Washington, the Hogs, their area is called Pig Alley, and it's written in crayon, they say. Second down and 4 from the 7 as the Redskins looking for a tying score. It's Riggins. Breaks the initial hit and has the speed to get outside and turn what would be a loss for a normal back into a gain of a couple. It'll be 3rd down and 2. Gerald Small finally ran him out of bounds.
And that's one time when Riggins is not difficult to tackle. If you can get him turned to the sideline, as they did on that play, and they'd love to be able to do that on every play. But there's only been 1 3rd down in this drive, Dick. They have been picking up big yardage on the Miami defense and doing a great job of mixing their plays. I'm sure Bill Arnsparger concerned about what his offense or what his defensive troops are going through out there against this Redskin offense.
That's a long one. 3rd and about a yard and a half. And Theismann to throw to Garrett. Touchdown! Here's the fun bunch and their touchdown celebration. The remarkable story of Alvin Garrett continues. He caught 1 pass for 6 yards all year, and then with the injury to Art Monk in the playoffs, 13 catches, 4 touchdowns. That's his 5th score in the playoffs.
And a brilliant finesse pass by number 7, Joe Theismann, as we watch the extra point cleanly through the uprights. Theismann just lofted that ball over the top of Gerald Small. Garrett able to come up with, here it is, a chance for you to look at. Look how quickly he throws that football. Arches it up and over the top. And what does Joe Theismann think about that play? You'll have a chance to watch him. Look how quickly that ball is in the air.
And Theismann said, we have 6 and make it 7. Timeout, 1:51 remaining in the first half. A new game.
And there we have the score, 10-all, Miami and Washington. And looking at the oversight view from the blimp of the stadium here in Pasadena, California. As we said earlier, it's a sellout crowd of 106,000 people. The majority of them are Washington Redskins fans. It is interesting to note that a lot of people, because of these teams being so similar, thought that this would be a very slow and low-scoring game. But both coaches, both being brilliant coaches, Don Shula and Joe Gibbs, predicted that it would be a high-scoring game. And as we can see already, 10 points for each team makes this an all-out shootout. It is interesting, another note, to look at the types of quarterbacks that are playing the game. Joe Theismann is a very talkative and gregarious type of individual, where David Woodley is a very quiet one. Theismann enjoys talking so much he works on a morning disc jockey show in Maryland, and he's showing that he can do well today.
Angelo State went to the Giants, and eventually another free agent pick by the Redskins. He has tied the game. Alvin Garrett. Now Jeff Hayes to kick off. Fulton Walker, the deep man for Miami. He had a 42-yard kickoff return the last time. From the 2. 20, he's in the open again. 30, 40, he's going to go all the way for a touchdown. 98 yards, Fulton Walker. It's in the book. Fulton Walker, new Super Bowl record, 98-yard kickoff return.
The Redskins have not given up a return for a touchdown on a kickoff all year. In fact, one of the strengths of their team has been their ability to come down and cover kicks. But number 41, Fulton Walker, shows them his heels as he simply breaks outside, gets excellent blocking. A block there on Wilbur Jackson. Hayes, the man who had the last shot at him, just threw his body down, and Fulton Walker carries it into the end zone.
That breaks the old mark of Rick Upchurch. The injured player was Clarence Harmon. He's okay. Here you see it again. He started left and then got a block and broke it right up the middle. There's the key block. Was thrown by 61, the All-American from University of Southern California, Roy Foster. And Walker, no one laid a hand on him.
It looked a little funny to you from that angle. That's a camera on the other side of the field. And here's another chance to see it coming right at you from the end zone. There was the big block on the outside. Just a devastating block on Cronin. Pretty job. Walker carrying it in for points.
Now Larry Anderson holds the all-time kickoff return yardage. The Pittsburgh Steelers on this field against the Rams. Remember his key returns. Walker in just 2 tries has a 98 and a 42-yarder. That's 140 yards already on 2 kickoff returns. He well could set a new mark. He needs just a short one now. Try for point by Von Schaman.
Don Strock is
Don Strock to hold.
Von Schaman attempting the conversion.
It's good. Now Larry Anderson with 5 returns at 162 yards. In 2 returns, Fulton Walker is just 22 yards shy of that mark. So an explosive second quarter, 17-10 Miami.
And an explosive second quarter that has been. And that's what happens in momentous sports occasions such as this. The pressure is so enormous that people that you would never consider to be heroes suddenly pop up, as we just saw with Fulton Walker, and come up with dynamic situations and make scores. But let's look at 2 of the gentlemen that we do know will play a significant part in the first half, as they already have, and in the second half. And we're talking about David Woodley and Joe Theismann again. As I was saying earlier, Theismann enjoys talking so much, he works on a morning disc jockey show for a Maryland radio station. Woodley, being so quiet, doesn't even like to answer the telephone. Woodley's idea of a big night is watching a Burt Reynolds movie on television, whereas Theismann this summer, or this past Tuesday, went to Burt Reynolds' house for dinner. So we get a drastic contrast on the type of personalities that are directing the offenses of both of these teams. I'm sure more superstars will pop up as the game continues.
Super Bowl mark with that 98-yard romp for a score, thanks to his friends on that special teams. And in a game where some thought 17-10 could be the final, everyone predicting a low-scoring game, it's 17-10 with a minute and a half remaining in this first half. Von Schaman to Nelms. He, a dangerous kick return man. Deep, 6 yards deep. He's going to take it out. 10. And down at the 16-yard line, and with it goes a flag. Steve Shull, 52, made the tackle for Miami, along with Woody Bennett. And now let's check the penalty.
Dick, that's the first time we've ever had a kickoff run all the way back for a touchdown in the Super Bowl. So not only a record in length, but also the first of its kind. Penalty for an illegal block going against the Washington Redskins here. That means they'll start even further in their own territory. It looked like they've been fighting for respect all year. In fact, that's kind of been their battle cry. Looked like they had gotten it on that touchdown, and then suddenly Miami comes raging back, puts 7 more on the board quickly, and let's see what Joe Theismann has in his back pocket for this minute and 34 seconds, the last minute and 34 seconds of this first half.
Todd Liebenstein guilty of the foul. Remember, the Redskins used a timeout earlier, so they have only 2 remaining. Riggins, we'll see if Miami elects to use their time. Yes, they are. Nesrone calls time. They now have 2 left, and of course the Miami strategy of Don Shula would be to try to hold the Redskins deep in their own end, using their timeouts and then get the ball near midfield on a punt. But of course, Joe Theismann and company will have thoughts of maintaining possession.
Dick, we've tried to show you some of the strategists in the game. On the far sideline, or on the near sideline, actually, that's Bro signaling in for Joe Gibbs. Joe Gibbs will give him the plays. He signals them in. Coach Bill Arnsparger on the other side signaling in his defenses. And they go in, interestingly, to A.J. Dewey. Dewey will make the calls for the 7 men up front. Then Glenn Blackwood will make the calls for the 4 defensive backers. And those calls can change according to formation, according to down and distance, and according to the movement of Washington's offense. That's why we're seeing so much motion from Washington. They're trying to confuse that Miami defense, and they've done a pretty good job of it here in the first half.
Hale high above the Rose Bowl, taking those magnificent shots, the Goodyear blimp. As a defensive player, Merlin, you hear so much talk about Bill Arnsparger and the genius of the man and the intricate defenses of the Dolphins. Are they really that much more involved than those used by the Redskins and the other NFL teams?
Well, in the Redskins defense, you're talking about one of the most complicated defenses in football, too. A defense that is very demanding. So we really have 2 great defensive systems on the field today.
Miami trying to hold Washington deep in its own end. Little draw play to Harmon. Oh, he's popped pretty good at the 13-yard line. A.J. Dewey helped out by Baumhauer. And time called Miami with 1 minute and 20 seconds left in the first half. And now Theismann needs about, with the ball at the 14, 3 yards for a first down, or the punting team will have to come on for Washington.
Baumhauer able to get good penetration on that play, and Theismann obviously not wanting to make a mistake here. Your choices are rather limited. You certainly wouldn't want to get an interception, but at the same time, if you can pick up that first down, you control the football, you at least don't give Miami a chance to get their hands back on it. You've got a quick look at number 58, Kim Bocamper, who's really had his hands full on the field today with number 66, Joe Jacoby.
You mentioned earlier that Joe Gibbs is a gambling head coach. When you consider the situation deep in your own end, 3rd down and 3, the last thing perhaps Miami might be looking for is a bomb. You think that they might go for the long strike?
It could, but one thing about Arnsparger's defense, it is a defense that is usually on safe ground for almost any play. It's not nearly as aggressive. He won't send the blitz. He sent it maybe 5% of the time as opposed to 30% for Washington.
3rd down 3, 1 minute 20 seconds left in the half. 17-10 Miami. Giaquinto, the man in motion, number 30. Theismann will run for the first down and get it with a slide at the 24-yard line. That looked like a pretty good baseball slide. Theismann had plenty of practice. He was an outstanding high school player, primarily a pitcher. In fact, the Minnesota Twins offered him a baseball contract.
One of the men the Hogs are trying to keep pinned down today, number 73, Bob Baumhauer. He was trying to chase from the inside. You see the blitz coming on that play. Actually, that's Rowan going inside. Baumhauer stunning behind him. Has his sights set on Theismann. George Stark, 74, pushes him away. But Theismann just outlegs Baumhauer and then hooks it into the sideline. He's safe.
First down at the 24-yard line with 1 minute 14 remaining. And now let's see what the Redskins do. They've got 2 timeouts left. Theismann complete. Oh, what a hit. Don Warren tackled by Mike Kozlowski, who came up quickly from the secondary. Kozlowski, who in junior college, his sport was volleyball. He won a scholarship as a volleyball star and then went on to Colorado.
I think he had visions of batting that ball loose and did, but after the receiver hit the ground. But that was quite a tackle. Pass thrown behind the receiver, who had to turn around put him in a very awkward position, and Kozlowski leveled it.
Second down, 6. Clock has been running. 38, 37, 36 seconds remaining, first half. Theismann going to go long down the middle. And a flag goes down. Giaquinto hit early by 42, Lyle Blackwood. Remember, the Dolphins had the fewest penalties in the NFL again this year. For the 7th consecutive year, the least penalized team. That was a big one. Number 42 at the 42. First down, Washington.
Lyle Blackwood had excellent position. He just mistimed the hit. He leveled Giaquinto before the ball arrived. And, of course, you'll have a first down at that point. A different look there. You saw how far away from Giaquinto the ball was when Blackwood hit him, and how quickly the flag was in the air.
17-10. Miami leads. 30 seconds left for Theismann and the Redskins before the half to try to tie. They're showing blitz. Theismann running out of room. And complete. Finally down. He's finally down at the 16-yard line. Timeout. Washington with 14 seconds left.
Absolutely a great play by Joe Theismann. Scrambling out to his right, getting pressure from Dewey, who had blitzed from the inside. Watch Dewey coming from the inside. Theismann will look back. He's coming right now. Looks back, he sees Dewey coming, and then just fires a strike. Joe Theismann has a powerful arm. He used it effectively there to get the ball to Charlie Brown.
Kozlowski on his coverage. He's got this short zone. And Brown had everybody dancing, didn't he?
You see what he's doing? He's using the sideline. He really had great position, but it was the strength of Theismann's arm and the throw. Watch this. Little baseball pitch there. Just zip. No chance for Kozlowski to get over and knock it away.
All right, now the pressure on the Washington Redskins is that of time. 14 seconds, and they have used their last time out. They are in field goal range. The ball a first down at the 16. Theismann perhaps will go for the touchdown. Can't afford to have a pass completed in the field of play for fear that with a tackle the time would run out before the field goal try.
I think they'll probably try and hit it in the end zone, Vic. Try and get something down into the end zone, but something hopefully that will be thrown in such a way that there's not a chance for an interception. And if they can't get it into the end zone, they'll go ahead and take their 3 points. What they don't want to do here is lose the opportunity to get some points on the board.
Everyone thought this would be a defensive struggle to find teams in that regard. And yet the last 4 possessions have resulted in a score, and Washington trying to make it 5 in a row. Get the ball, you get some points. From the 16, Theismann has time, and he doesn't get out of bounds, and the clock is running.
I don't think they'll be able to get it stopped, Dick. I think they've got the opportunity to get it through here.
1, it's all over the first half, and that was the risk that the Redskins took of completing the pass in the field of play. They were unable to get out of bounds, and the Dolphins making the tackle, and Don Shula.
I hope you're enjoying Channel 4's live coverage of this super-duper 1983 Super Bowl. During the half, you'll be able to see a very interesting halftime show. And after that, we'll be back for the second half. During the next 12 minutes, you'll be seeing the Super Bowl halftime show. And what a show it is. Some 12,000 members of the Los Angeles Unified School District drill teams will create a kaleidoscopic patterns on the field with 12 miles of color fabric and 610-foot long parasols. And as you will see, there will be a role for everyone in this crowd of 100,000 people to play.
15 seconds to Kaleida Superstars.
Ladies and gentlemen, live from the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, Super Bowl 17 presents its halftime spectacular, Kaleidoscope, featuring a cast of 105,000 persons and the Super Drill Team. Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching live from Pasadena, California, Super Bowl 17's halftime Kaleidoscope. And now for our grand finale. The entire Super Bowl 17 cast of 105,000 sends a color greeting to the world for friendship, peace, and love in 1983. Today's halftime spectacular was conceived and produced for the National Football League by Robert F. Yanni and featured the Super Drill Team of the Los Angeles Unified School District and the entire stadium audience.
So a spectacular halftime show is over here at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. The first half offered a couple of spectacular long Miami touchdowns, 76 yards, Woodley to CEFALO, Fulton Walker 98-yard kickoff return to give the Dolphins a 17-10 lead. Now,
well, what a marvellous game it is and what a spectacular show that was at half-time. Well, John, it seemed that it took a long time for both teams to get into gear, and then suddenly they got all fired up. Is that the way that you see it? Because it was seesawing all over the place. Marvellous
It was.
plays.
To start off with, Miami's defense was controlling the game, and then Washington started to give the ball to Riggins, and he just kept running the ball up the middle. And the kickoff returners had a big impact on the game. Nelms had a good return, and then Fulton Walker had a 42-yard return, which set up a field goal, and then he had another 98-yard return, which got a touchdown. So the kickoff and special teams is having a big impact on this game.
Now, what's happening now in the locker rooms? They're obviously discussing tactics, but what will the coaches be saying to the individual teams?
Well, you see, each team has two coaches up in the press box, and they're analyzing what the offenses are doing, what the defenses are doing on the other team, on the opposing team. They come rushing down to the locker room, and the locker room's divided into two areas. There's big blackboards, and the defensive team goes to one end, the offensive team to the other end, and they start to analyze what the other team's been doing during the half. Now, during the week, they've analyzed each team, and now they're looking at it and saying, well, what are they doing differently to what we've seen them on the scouting reports and what we've seen on the films? So now the offensive captains and defensive captains are trying to analyze that. The coaches are telling them, look, we've got to do this, we've got to do that, we've got to take this away from Miami or this away from Washington. And they're actually changing their strategy right now for the second half to make sure that they can compensate for the other team.
And what kind of plays can we expect in the second half? I mean, how will the Dolphins change their plays in the second half, do you think?
Well, the Dolphins, I think, were playing well. They were throwing the ball a little bit more than Washington. Washington were just giving the ball to Riggins. They weren't throwing the ball downfield very deep, but they were playing very tricky plays. They were just throwing screens to the side, and being a little bit more conservative, but they were moving the ball. They've got a big bulldozer called Riggins. Why not give him the ball?
Yes, indeed. Well, in fact, when the plays came, they came thick and fast. John, thank you just for the moment. But now let's have a look at some of those fantastic plays from the first half. We put it all together for you. Let's have a look at it now.